Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Finally Talk here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK and I thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to everyone wherever you're watching across all of our platforms. It's wonderful to have you here. Today's topic is who you become when you stop chasing reactions. So what does that mean? Well, of course, with social media and so many of us being on there, we can post something and then instantly want to see acknowledgement that someone has seen it, someone's liked it, someone's commented on it, or someone's even forwarded or shared it with other people. And when this doesn't happen, sometimes it gives us a reason for pause. We start questioning ourselves. Are we still relevant? Are my followers still out there following me? But yet there's so much more to it than just that. This episode is going to explore what I like to think of as an identity shift that happens when you stop measuring your own value by the reactions of other people. Many people will speak without even realizing it by posting, defending, arguing, or doing something in order to generate a response. Many times we see this on social media. People will put something out there that we think to ourselves, wow, I can't believe that somebody actually just did this. And I've heard that a lot from people who are on TikTok. So I have an account on TikTok, but I'm not actively on there. But sometimes people will do something to get a reaction from someone. And in places like TikTok, they can actually earn a lot of money depending on who it is that's following them and then what types of opportunities that they get. But that's pretty much few and far between when you think of the masses. So whether you're on social media or you're not, what are you doing to get a reaction from your partner, from your family, from your team members, from your community? What is it that you are trying to do so that you get people to acknowledge and recognize you? Our first instinct is typically to look for a reaction. Is somebody listening to me? Is somebody debating what I have to say? Does someone agree with me? Think about any time you've been in a situation where maybe you are not getting along with someone and you decide to go and call people you know, or in today's day and age, people will put it on social media and say, hey, this is what happened to me. What do you think? And they run this informal poll. And so basically by getting information from the unknown or even people we do know about a situation, somehow that adds validity to what it is that we did or didn't do. So we can then come back and say, well, you know what? X number of people agreed with me and said I was doing the right thing. But of course, we know that that's just in a vacuum and that can shift at any given moment. So the question really is, why is it that we're looking for this external validation? Social media has really become something, and by the way, we're on social media right now. So I love social media, but there's always opportunities and reflections about it. But it's sort of a culture where we're looking to post something and then get a response. And how people react even becomes something like emotional currency. So even though it's not actual dollars and bills or whatever culture, whatever your currency is where you're watching from, this is emotional currency, that it gives us a sense of pride or self-esteem, or maybe it's the exact opposite. But what is the difference between that being an influence or that just being a reaction. I know of many people who have been on USA Global TV and radio. They've come in and out of our doors and they said that they were influencers because they had a huge number of people who were following them. And what's interesting is, even though there were so many people who were following them, the number of people who were actually watching the show was a much different number of people. And once the show was over and the person put it out there, the number of people who were actually commenting who were not robots was a completely different number. So I tend to shy away from that when someone says I'm an influencer. To me, it's, if you're an influencer, what are you doing in this world to actually drive behavior change for good? And to me, that means, as a peace ambassador, what are you doing to bring peace into the world? So think about how much time we spend wanting someone to like us, wanting someone to establish what our value is. And meanwhile, no one can do that. The only person who can establish our value is us. But yet sometimes we get lost with that and we don't know what our value is. So we look outside. We look externally for external validation. Does this work? Sometimes it does, but it's usually very short-lived because it's not enough. So then we need more. And in many ways, this is what happens when people get into dysfunctional types of behavior. Because they haven't dealt with the root cause, they're looking for a temporary fix for that validation for them to feel good. And so instead of asking the 5 whys and getting down to the core of it, of why it is that you're not feeling good and what it is that you actually can control and what is the solution, they look for quick fixes. And those quick fixes can feel good, but it's just temporary. And it's the same thing with looking for that external validation. There will never be enough validation unless you validate yourself internally, unless you approve of yourself internally. We also have that fear of being ignored. Have you ever contacted someone, whether it's by text or email or phone, and you want an immediate answer from them? You want an immediate response. And when you don't get this, you start feeling like, wow, I guess I don't matter. But meanwhile, the person might not have even looked at it yet. They are in the midst of doing something. When you are someone who's very productive, you're not necessarily looking at your phone or looking at your computer to see who's contacting you. You're actually making something happen. And so I think that that's something that we have to look at. Why do we need that immediate reaction? And with all of the various platforms, with text messaging, some people have read receipts. You can see that they've read it. With WhatsApp, with Messenger, you can see when someone's looked at whatever it is you sent. And yet we want that immediate reaction. And I'll tell you that I was one of those people who would respond immediately. If you contacted me, I felt like I needed to respond to you right away. And someone said to me, you know, I knew that you would just get back to me right away and you wouldn't even think about what it was I asked you. And in a way, that was actually true, because it was more important that I would get back to them than actually take the time to consider what they had asked me. So think about where you are in your decision-making process. Are you thinking things through? Are you immediately responding? And sometimes when we're in a situation where we're highly emotional and we respond right away, we carry that emotion into that interaction with us. And so that interaction doesn't have the clarity that it would have if we were in control of our emotions. So I truly believe it's good to take a pause. It's good to take a step back. And it's good to just analyze what is coming up for us. Now, if you are someone who really loves to hear what other people have to say about what you're doing and how you're feeling, again, I'd like you to ask yourself why. Why are you so interested in chasing other people's opinions and reactions about you and your decisions? What you may find is, if you do your work, meaning really looking within and really understanding who you are and what it is that does bring you joy, you may realize that you're very insecure, or that you don't feel loved, or you don't feel worthy, or you don't feel like you're making a difference in your time on this planet. But the good news is there's still time to change it. You can change your mind and start working on things. You have a choice. So with the choice, I ask you to consider, will you continue chasing other people's reactions and feedbacks, or will you actually look within? Now, sometimes we will get feedback, whether we like it or not, especially if you are in a work environment. You may be part of an organization and they give feedback every so often. Or you may have an understanding, an agreement with your spouse or significant other that you'll have really candid and honest conversations by providing feedback. So feedback is not necessarily the same as a reaction. A reaction can be very temporary. You can like something and then you just go away. So you might see a post, you never even read it, and you might just click like. But meanwhile, it didn't resonate with you. It didn't make any difference as to what was in that post. You might have just been supporting someone who posted it, or you might have been interested in what was in the post. But when you're sharing feedback, you've typically asked for permission. How would you feel if I shared this feedback with you? Or in my role, part of what I do is to provide feedback. Are you open and ready for that now? And once you get the feedback, that's very different than getting a reaction. However, you may have a reaction to the feedback. You may not like the feedback, or you may be overjoyed with the feedback, but that's a different thing than looking for external validation. So if you're in a role in work, for example, where you are part of a process where you are evaluated and you get this external feedback from your superiors, that is meant in most cases to provide you information to help you be more successful at your work. Or at the same point, maybe this particular role that you're in isn't a great fit for you, and it might be feedback to help you move on and find whatever it is. So I want you to think about these things when you think about reacting and just doing things in sort of a haphazard way. What is the cost of chasing reactions? Well, there's very high highs and there's very low lows, depending on the responses that you're getting. So, for example, if you decide to put out there something that you want people to weigh in on, you may not get what you thought you were going to get in terms of responses from people. People may not be in alignment with whatever it is that you're putting out there. So you have to be prepared for that. And that can definitely have an impact on your self-esteem and how you see yourself and how you carry yourself if you have not set boundaries. So strong boundaries are really an important thing. The next thing is that sometimes people will just say things just to get a response from you. Have you ever had this situation, excuse me, where someone says something just to see if they can get you? And I think it's called get your goat, so to speak. So in those kinds of situations, how do you react? And I'll tell you how I'm going to react because I'm starting to choke. So I'm going to go to a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Let's Finally Talk. And today we're talking about who you become when you stop chasing reactions. So up to this point, we've talked about social media. We've talked about formal workplaces where you get feedback, and also understanding that we have as individuals with one another about sharing feedback about how our relationship is going. So when we're chasing reactions as opposed to feedback, we have these emotional highs and these emotional lows. Sometimes we say things for impact rather than sharing the truth because we want to see how someone reacts. We really want to kind of shock them and startle them. Many times we will go on and on and on about something, and the conversation is really draining. And so this can be the cost of chasing a reaction as well. But inside is the part to me that is the most important. We start questioning ourselves. Our mood starts to change. Our entire demeanor starts to change, and our energy changes. And what comes as a result of that? We don't have peace anymore. What we've built everything on in terms of finding peace, and that's really what I stand for, is finding peace, internal peace, so that each of us can be part of world peace. It becomes unstable. And so now what happens when we stop? When we stop chasing the reactions, we're probably not talking as much, but we're listening, and we're listening with intelligence, and we're listening with curiosity. And when we do speak, we have something really important to say. We're not uncomfortable in the silence. Have you ever been in a conversation and all of a sudden there's just silence, and you can see people's faces like, what's going on? Why isn't anyone saying anything? And sometimes people will say, hey, are you going to talk? What's going on? Why aren't you saying anything? But in that silence, there's so much to be learned. And there's an old expression, the first person who speaks loses. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but when you're not chasing reactions anymore, you don't have to be doing all the talking. And if you are someone who talks a lot, ask yourself why. Why are you the one always filling the space? And what happens when there's silence? What's coming up for you? How do you feel? And if you're uncomfortable in the silence, the good news is you can work on it. When you stop chasing reactions, you are no longer provoking someone. And I see it all the time, because broadcasting as I do, I have 5 shows of my own, but we've got over 60 shows here at USA Global TV and Radio. Sometimes while I'm presenting something, I'll see negative comments from people. And many times they have absolutely nothing to do with me. But I think to myself, this person is putting out in the public domain something very negative, and I give them grace, because obviously they feel the need for someone to look at them. And so how do they get your attention? By putting something negative, hoping that as the host, I'll acknowledge it, which I don't do. So I want you to think about these 3 questions. And these are the 3 questions, the same ones that I bring up every time I do this show. When you are no longer chasing reactions, you're no longer chasing that external validation, you can show up as an elevated listener. You have to ask yourself these 3 questions for yourself. Before you speak, before you post, before you make the phone call, before you text, before you write, is what you're about to share kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? Think about all the things that you probably would not say if you followed that structured guideline 1, 2, and 3, kind, necessary, true. How many things would you no longer say and put out into the world? Probably quite a bit. But yet we feel compelled to share and overshare, to explain and over-explain, because we're still chasing reactions. We're still looking for that external validation. And when you're no longer looking for it, when it's no longer part of your life, something shifts. Your energy shifts. Your ability to focus and concentrate shifts, because you're no longer looking around for that pat on the back. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving yourself the internal validation that you love and deserve. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you have to go outside to look for it. When what you have inside isn't enough. That is the external validation. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's temporary. There are some people I know who cannot be alone, and they surround themselves with people all the time. And then when 1 or 2 of these people disappear, it's kind of like, I don't understand what happened, because they weren't really your friends. You wanted people around to pay attention to you. so that when you were talking, you had this group of people. But that doesn't mean that it was authentic. So when you stop chasing those reactions, you start to see who really is in your corner. And you start to realize who you really are there for in their corner. Your confidence starts to grow because you no longer need proof. You have your intuition, you feel it internally. You know what is true, you know what is kind, and you know what is necessary. And it's not a matter of manipulating that so that it benefits you. It's really an identity shift of who you become when you stop chasing after reactions. Here are some of the big takeaways. You will have a quieter level of confidence. It's that just knowing that I don't need any external validation. It's also having boundaries. And your boundaries are going to be stronger. You're going to set a line in the sand and you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going there. And sometimes this means, more often than not, saying no. Someone once said to me that whenever this person had a chance to say yes, they would say yes to as many things as possible. But when you're always saying yes and you're not actually exploring what is required, you're going to become exhausted and frustrated. It's just natural. So when you stop chasing reactions, you have this quiet level of confidence, you have stronger boundaries, and you have this innate sense of being less emotional. You're less volatile and you're more grounded. You begin to show up because what you know about yourself is true. Not because you're looking for something to happen. You just know in your body, in your soul, in your intuition, this is where you're supposed to be. So when you stop chasing reactions, you stop chasing approval. You stop chasing external validation. And for anyone who has ever done this or who does this, it is exhausting. It is exhausting to constantly want other people's approval. So why not have an identity shift and don't do that anymore? Say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to do what I need to do to love myself, to believe in myself, to support myself, and still be kind and still be gracious and still be generous, but not be weak, not be desperate, not be chasing after people to tell you that you matter. Looking in the mirror, you will see your best coach every time. It's you. When you believe in yourself, when you follow the right path, you know if you're in alignment. We've all done it. We've all made mistakes. We've all gone down paths that we wish we hadn't gone down. And we knew it. There was a certain point when we knew it and we just ignored it because we thought the upside, whatever it was going to be, maybe was getting in someone's good graces. Maybe it was part of being in a community. Maybe it was feeling like you were valuable and loved. When we look for it outside, we will be disappointed because it is only temporary. You have to learn to love yourself. And the things that you don't like about yourself, you have a choice and you can choose to work on them. It may not happen overnight because life is a journey. We're here for the ride. So I hope that you find your journey. I hope that you're able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I have been chasing external validation, but I'm not going to do it anymore. If you post something on social media and no one likes it, that's okay. You don't have to take it down. Plenty of people probably saw it and just decided not to comment. That's on them. Let them do whatever it is they want to do and let you do what you're going to do. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will ask you again, if you would kindly go over to our YouTube channels as opposed to wherever it is you might be watching us on. We have 2 YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, which is the home of the Silver Creator Award. And we also have Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. So if you would please go to these locations, to these destinations, and subscribe. I personally would really appreciate it, and I know that our team would as well. Thank you again. I will be back with another episode, as will our team members. So do stay tuned. And for now, we're going to be signing off. Over to our sponsors. Goodbye.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful: The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives, by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.